Hey everybody, this is William Green, and these are my green pets for August 20th, 2016. A few of my slipper orchids have been brought inside because they were either in flower and I wanted to enjoy the blooms inside, or they were experiencing some problems like rot and I wanted to watch them more closely. The only plant that I have indoors which is in bloom is this Paphiopedilum prime child, which was awarded last week in St. Louis an Award of Merit from the American Orchid Society, and I wanted to show off the award here. So there it is. If we go outside, it's a similar story. There's a lot of growth happening, but not a lot of flowering. This Vanda, Pachar Delight, it had several spikes, but the flowers have mostly fallen off. However, there are a few spikes that are starting to poke back out for round 2 of the summer flowering. So we're all business up front, but there's a party in the back. If you look, there are lots and lots of new roots that have pushed their way out this summer, some of them as big as my finger. These Vanda orchids like to have their large roots exposed to the air, and they enjoy being watered every day, but then they also need to dry out before they're watered again. As we head into the shade tent where all of the other orchids are located, we're going to see a lot of root growth happening. Little Mermaid is a popular Cattleya hybrid, and this one is pushing out its latest pseudobulb, hopefully to be blooming around October, and it's got lots of new roots as well. This Catasetum type is nearing the end of its summer growth cycle. Within a couple of months, it will be dropping its leaves, and so in order to prepare for that dry season, those bulbs are really starting to swell. Look how fat they have become. We'll be looking for flowers on this plant in February. This is the third summer outdoors for these Cattleya rex seedlings. I'm especially proud of this mounted plant. I had no idea it would do so well. These smaller seedlings are also growing well on their shared piece of hickory bark, but they've still got several years of growth before they'll be large enough to bloom. Lots of new growths and roots are poking out of this coconut orchid. These 4 bulbophyllum orchids have really enjoyed the hot, humid, and rainy summer we've had here in the Ohio Valley region. Emerging root tips are a sure sign that this year's growths are nearing maturity. Within a couple of months, many of these plants will be in flower. These Phalaenopsis are also putting out a profusion of new roots. Schilleriana is a species with beautifully patterned leaves and fragrant pink blossoms. This reminds me of a rather famous work of art. Anyone else? Get out of the way, we got roots coming through. Tropical slipper orchids are notoriously slow-growing orchids, but even here some interesting things are happening. This is Paphiopedilum Kopovits, and if we look in its see-through pot, we'll see roots coming out the top of the pot, we'll see roots coming out the bottom of the pot. This plant has produced lots and lots of roots this year, and hopefully that's going to mean stronger top growth later on. This one might just be my slowest growing orchid in my collection, but this summer it has produced a new growth off to the side. This Oncidium species has produced its largest growth yet in spite of being damaged by hail this spring. Well, as every orchid grower knows, a strong growing season can mean a strong blooming season, and that's what we've got our fingers crossed for this year. That's all for this week. I'm William B. Green. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time right here on My Green Pets.